across the Middle East, tensions have once again moved to the center of global attention. And the latest developments involving Iran, Israel, and U.S. interests in the region are raising serious questions about where this situation could be heading next. Reports of missile activity, drone deployments, and military announcements are circulating across international media. And for many observers, this moment feels like another chapter in a long and complicated geopolitical rivalry that has been building for years. For viewers watching these headlines unfold, it can sometimes feel overwhelming. One day there's talk of diplomatic negotiations. The next day there are reports of new military operations or rising security alerts across the region. But to truly understand what's happening, it helps to step back and look at the broader context, because this situation isn't just about a single event. It's about strategic messaging, regional power dynamics, and a delicate balance that affects not only the Middle East, but global stability as well. Recent statements from Iranian authorities have referenced new phases of operations and the use of various missile systems and drones. These announcements often come with specific names and descriptions that may sound technical or symbolic, but in geopolitical terms, they carry a deeper meaning. Military operations are rarely announced publicly without a purpose. Beyond the immediate tactical dimension, such statements often serve as signals, directed not only at rivals, but also at allies and the international community. When a country publicly names and describes an operation, it's often part of a broader strategy of deterrence. The message can be complex, but it generally follows a familiar logic, demonstrating capability, reinforcing resolve, and shaping perceptions among other regional powers. In the Middle East, where multiple security alliances and rivalries overlap, even the language used in official announcements can carry diplomatic weight. At the same time, analysts are paying close attention to the kinds of technologies mentioned in these reports, particularly missiles and unmanned aerial systems. Over the past decade, the nature of modern conflict has evolved significantly. Long-range missiles, precision-guided weapons, and drones have become central tools in how many countries project military power. Unlike traditional military deployments that rely on large troop movements, these systems allow states to signal strength or respond to perceived threats without direct battlefield confrontation. In many ways, they've changed how strategic competition plays out. A missile test, a drone launch, or even the announcement of new capabilities can send powerful political messages far beyond the immediate area where the systems are deployed. Across the world, countries are investing heavily in these technologies. Advances in guidance systems, propulsion, and surveillance capabilities have made missiles and drones more accurate and more versatile than ever before. For governments concerned about national security, these systems provide a way to extend defensive or deterrent reach across hundreds or even thousands of kilometers. This technological shift is one reason why reports of missile activity in regions like the Middle East attract so much international attention. The implications are rarely limited to a single country. Instead, they intersect with broader questions about regional stability, security partnerships, and global strategic competition. Another factor that draws global focus to these developments is the location of key military installations across the Gulf region. Several countries in this area host major international military bases that play a central role in security cooperation and defense planning. These bases support a range of operations, from surveillance and intelligence sharing to logistical coordination and rapid response capabilities. Because of their strategic importance, any mention of tensions involving locations near these facilities immediately captures the attention of military planners and policymakers worldwide. These bases are not simply local installations. They are part of a larger network that connects regional security efforts with international defense partnerships. For decades, the Gulf region has served as a critical crossroads for global energy supply routes and international trade corridors. As a result, maintaining stability there has been a priority for many governments beyond the immediate region. When tensions rise, it often prompts careful monitoring not only by regional actors, but also by global powers that have economic, diplomatic, or security interests tied to the area. That's why developments involving military announcements or reports of operations tend to trigger reactions far beyond the countries directly involved. Diplomats, defense analysts, and international organizations frequently call for restraint, and emphasize the importance of dialogue when tensions escalate. History has shown that periods of heightened tension can create uncertainty in global markets, influence diplomatic negotiations, and reshape security calculations across multiple regions. Even when direct conflict is avoided, the ripple effects of strategic competition can be felt in political debates, economic policies, and international alliances. Around the world, governments often respond to these moments with a mix of caution and diplomacy. Statements urging restraint, calls for de-escalation, and behind-the-scenes negotiations are common features of how the international community attempts to manage crises. In many cases, the most significant developments happen not in public announcements, but in quiet diplomatic channels, where officials work to reduce misunderstandings and prevent escalation. For observers trying to understand what comes next, the situation can appear uncertain, and in many ways it is. Geopolitical tensions rarely follow a predictable path. Sometimes strong rhetoric is followed by diplomatic engagement. At other times, periods of calm can suddenly give way to renewed confrontation. Analysts often focus on several key possibilities during moments like these. One scenario involves increased diplomatic pressure from regional and international actors seeking to stabilize the situation. Another possibility is the continuation of strategic signaling, where countries demonstrate military capability without crossing thresholds that would trigger direct conflict. There is also the broader question of deterrence. In international relations, deterrence operates on the idea that demonstrating capability and resolve can prevent adversaries from taking certain actions. Military announcements, technological demonstrations, and carefully timed statements can all play roles in reinforcing that strategy. But alongside these strategic calculations, there's also a human dimension to global events that often gets overlooked. When tensions rise in any part of the world, ordinary people naturally begin to wonder what it means for their future, whether it might affect economic stability, energy prices, travel, or international relations more broadly. That's why careful analysis and balanced reporting are so important. Understanding the context behind headlines helps viewers move beyond speculation and focus on the deeper forces shaping global events. The goal isn't simply to follow each update, but to recognize how individual developments fit into the wider geopolitical landscape. At the moment, the Middle East remains one of the most closely watched regions in international affairs. Its strategic location, complex alliances, and long history of political rivalry make it a place where even small developments can carry wider implications. Yet history also shows that diplomacy, dialogue, and strategic caution have often played crucial roles in preventing situations from escalating further. For viewers following this story, the coming weeks will likely bring additional statements, diplomatic responses, and continued analysis from governments and international observers. Each development will add another layer to a situation that is already complex and evolving. As always, staying informed means looking beyond the immediate headline and asking deeper questions about strategy, international relationships, and the broader forces that influence how global events unfold. And that's where your perspective matters too. Because conversations about world events aren't just happening in government offices or policy circles, they're also happening among people who care about understanding the world around them. So how do you see the current tensions shaping the future of regional stability and international relations? Do you think diplomatic efforts will ease the situation, or could strategic competition continue to intensify? I'd really be interested to hear your thoughts and perspectives in the comments. Because as this story continues to develop, one thing is certain: the decisions made in moments like these often shape global dynamics far longer than the headlines themselves. And in a rapidly changing world, understanding those dynamics may be more important than ever.